Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with the sincere truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here quick little article, which is pretty much like a preview of the things that's coming, As far as this here article goes, homeboy is obviously shocked and, thrown into their state. Obviously, he's seen his wife get killed, but nevertheless, hey, man, this is what's coming upon, not only you two-thirds of you Israelites, but really upon America all over the earth, man. All right, these soldiers are about to be let loose, all right? So this is from RT. It says, the Army just killed my wife. Soul-crushing video provokes online outrage towards Colombian military. And if you know anything about Colombia, all right, this is like a puppet state of America, all right? Like with the whole Venezuelan situation they had going on, where they was talking about Nicolas Maduro had to put the lockdowns on Venezuela, wasn't letting in American aid, and then all of a sudden that Colombian truck with the American aid wound up getting set on fire. All right, and they said it was the Venezuelan people. Well, they were Venezuelan people that they're being paid off by America that defected over to the Colombians. So this is like a puppet state, more or less to say. All right. So hey, you could just pretty much call these same soldiers pretty much an extension of the American soldiers. All right. It says hey, let me read the top of this. It says Colombian anti-narcotic soldiers prepared to patrol the Putumayo River in a Black Hawk helicopter donated by the U.S. government, February 14, 2001. All right. It says a young Colombian man filmed himself crying over his dead wife who was shot in her car by soldiers. The emotional video led to online users to denounce both the country's government and the U.S. foreign policy. The woman reported as Juliana Gallardo Diaz was killed on Thursday while she and her husband were driving through the rural area of Miranda, Cauca, or something like that. In the graphic video, her body can be seen laying in the car's front seat, apparently shot in the head with a pool of blood. All right, and I'm not going to show the video, which they don't really show too much in the video, but I don't want YouTube to take this here video down, Basically, all you would see is, you don't see her shot in the head, you just kind of see a person sitting in the side. It says the Colombian army shot the man's wife in the head and killed her. He's begging for help. Help me, please. We have nothing. Her name is Juliana. She was killed this morning in Miranda, Cauca. All right. The army just killed my wife. The man Francisco can be heard screaming in the footage. We had no drugs. We had no weapons. We had nothing. Please help me. All right. Hey, man, you asking for man, to help you. Like the scripture say, woe unto you that go down to Egypt for help. It's the same thing that's going on here in America, man. When you jakes over here getting shot, these are jakes over there as well too. But when you jakes over here getting shot and everything like that, you start crying out, why did this happen, and so on and so forth, or they call the police. One of my biggest fears or whatnot, especially amongst the so-called black people, is some kind of situation happens at the house, you know what I'm saying, a mother and a child get into it or whatnot, and they don't know how to handle situations because they're both very emotional people or whatnot, and the parent wind up calling the police on their child just to so-called scare them or try to get them in line or whatnot. And the cops come in because they get a green light. Well, shit, we're going to go kill another nigga today, man. All right, and that parent who just wanted to discipline their child or get a little control over their child now is facing burying their child, man. All right, these people have no remorse on our people, man. All right, even though these are jakes out here, but they're being controlled by who? Esau, all right? Since the Colombian army has issued a statement saying that the woman was shot by a soldier while the military was securing the area. The country's president, Ivan Duque, ordered both the defense ministry and the army to carry out a quick investigation to punish those responsible. Separately, the incident will also be reviewed by the Attorney General's office, and which, and they'll even say it in here. They're not going to say much about it because, again, this is an extension of America's army, all right? Now, they could just, put blame on them, and then America will be like, oh, well, we don't support them or whatnot, and what all they do, and so on and so forth. The same thing happened with Saddam Hussein, right? This is where they get the so-called chemicals of, well, not chemicals of mass destruction, but the chemical weapons, all right, because America had the receipts. America wound up giving Saddam Hussein those chemical weapons to use, I believe, on the Kurds, all right. Then they went back and used the same narrative. Oh, he's got chemical weapons. Yeah, because you're the one who supplied him with the chemical weapons. You pay him off to do your dirty work, and then when things come up in the news and the media, you back up off of them like you wasn't supporting them. Commentators universally condemned the killing online, saying that the people in uniform always get to act with impunity. Others lamented that no one in the international community addresses such incidents in their view because Colombia is a U.S. puppet state. All right. Look. Knowing Colombia is a U.S. puppet state, no one will condemn it. The woman's horrifying death follows countrywide turmoil during protests and riots against police brutality. All right, who is the police brutalizing? It's Jake all over the world, man. So we mention a lot, the so-called Black Lives Matter movement, and sometimes you'll hear us speak about this into the layman's ears. It'll sound like that we're somewhat supporting that whole movement, but we know that movement itself has been set up by Esau, George Soros, and things like that. But we understand where the sentiment comes from, man. All right, the rising up and the standing up for yourself from being basically bullied the whole time, man. All right. But why are they having a police brutality uprisings over there? All right, because why? Jake is still getting killed down at the force of Esau, whether or not the actual it's like somebody getting killed, right? But at the same time, the killer wasn't the person who really killed the person. Somebody paid that person to take out this here hit on them. You pay a hitman, and situations like that. Well, it's like, yeah, the hitman pulled the trigger, but he's just taking the payment, and he's just a paid mercenary at this point in time. So just like these Colombian police or whatever, whatnot, where do they get their marching orders from? Where their guidelines where they can do this and do that from? All right, it's from these Americans. All right, so let's jump into some scriptures real quick. Let me grab this first. Actually, in Jeremiah chapter 30, start at verse 5, because these are the times that's coming. All right. And it's going to be more and more of these killings and things like that right in front of your face and everything like that, and so on and so forth, to where people are going to be thinking like this guy in this here video, he's screaming and crying, and how could this happen? You guys help me, help me, help me. But not realizing that's the enemy. That's what the enemy is going to do, man. All right. This is like the scripture say, who shall pity a charmer, man? All right. This is the same scenario where, you playing around in a lion's den or whatever, whatnot, or a tiger cage or a shark tank, and you want to be getting ate up, man, nobody going to be feeling bad for you about those situations. Granted, the police shouldn't have just rolled up and shot them like that. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, whoever perished being innocent, all right? Jeremiah 30 and verse 5. For this saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. All right, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness? Now, again, I didn't play the video. You can go back on the RT, watch the little video, whatever, whatnot. I didn't want to play the videos to give YouTube no type of, leeway to try to strike my video down, because you know how that goes. But nevertheless, you can hear the dude in the video screaming and crying out and whatever, whatnot, so on and so forth, But when you start seeing graphic and horrific signs and things like this, man, it'll take the biggest macho man down to his knees, man. All right, these people were probably just riding along in their car or whatever, whatnot, and troops rolled up on them or whatever, whatnot, and wanted to put a bullet into her head, man. Everything, conversations all, oh, what are we doing after work today, or what are we going to eat today, or little Johnny's soccer game later on today, and boom, all of a sudden their brains all over the car. That's going to rattle you up, man. Or you seeing your kids getting blown away right in front of your face, man. It's going to rattle you up, man. Look at all these police killings on video or whatever, whatnot, where they choking people out or whatever, whatnot, when the crowd is watching the person being detained or whatever, whatnot. But as they start noticing that it's going left real quick, the people start getting in an uproar. People, going to a real mourning statement. All right. So just imagine death all over the place, man. All right. Just people just getting wasted. Imagine you living in one of those high-rise apartment buildings up in, like, let's say New York or something like that. And down the hallway, all you hear is screams and doors getting kicked in and guns going off or whatever, whatnot, man. It's going to be horrific like that, man. And as we see right now, things are getting to that point, man. All these police killings going on left and right, man. These riots and these protests burning down everything, man. All right, the police using their riot gear and things on the people, man. All right, and these number of killings that's going up in these different places, left and right. And I was watching this video of a shooting in Chicago. I'm not sure how long ago this was or whatever, whatnot. But nevertheless, it was a shooting thing that happened. And I guess they was at a funeral already for somebody who had got shot. And then at the funeral, somebody else came by and did another drive-by and shot some other people or whatever, whatnot, But nevertheless, I believe that the mom of the person who was killed at the original funeral, she wound up, like, you could hear her screaming and everything like that. And I think she wound up passing out or maybe even dying or something like that, But just from the screams, because of these horrific views that you're about to start seeing left and right, man. These are the times that we're coming into, man. This is the beginning of Jacob's trouble. We're not in the peak of it, the height of it. But as you see, hey, man, it's some all-out new shit out here, man. Ever since Barack Obama got in office, that's when he started having, like, the Trayvon Martins and everything like that now, these killings have been going on forever. You had Emmett Till and so on and so forth. But now, it's being televised on the news, the media, and also on these body cams and on the internet. social media. You know, you can't really hide anything now because everybody has a cell phone. Like this footage here, man. It wasn't necessarily the news that wrote up on it. Obviously, we got it off of RT, but it wasn't the news crew up there. It was the dude right there on the scene. His homegirl still inside the car leaking out, man. You know, the regular police ain't showed up. The EMS ain't showed up yet. He's videotaping it and letting the whole world know what's going on at this point in time, man. So now we're at a time now where everything is being increased at these points in times, man. All right, and this is what you should be preparing to see, man. There's a lot of people now that's like being turned off from watching news, seeing all these killings and so-called, oh, man, I'm getting like PTSD from seeing all these killings and all these traumas and so on and so forth. Hey, man, this is only the beginning, man. All right, you know, I used to wonder about coming into this here truth, man, and seeing a lot of these videos and things like that of people being brutally put to death, man, and just all kind of horrific deaths and things like that. I'm like, man, I don't want to see no shit like this. But then now it's to the point where you just numb to that, man. So now as you starting to see all this death, because ultimately, like the scripture say, you're going to be seeing death left and right, left and right. There's going to be so many dead bodies around you, bro. So it's going to be, you know, you're going to be walking over dead babies and shit like that. You know, you might be walking through the streets in the middle of the night, and all you feel is like flesh and bones crunching under your feet, and it's just a bunch of dead people up under your feet, man. This is what we're about to get into. But now what the Lord is, you know, especially for the men of the Lord, he's hardening our hearts with a lot of these different things by making us so-called numb to these things, man. We see all these things. We see every last one of these cases, man. We are aware of all these cases, the details of it. And a lot of the times we actually get to see like a lot of these videos and things of these horrific situations or whatever, whatnot. So what? In these times when we going around and we have to move, keep things moving or whatever, whatnot, we're not shocked and torn up by seeing, you know, some dead motherfucker on the side of the road or whatever, whatnot, because this is going to be the new norm, man. All right, this is going to be the new situation, man. This is going to be that, hey, man, it's just like, you know, hey, I've found by talking to some of the brothers that we all have some things in common, like, you know, sometimes going down that, you know, in our folly, going down that little rabbit hole on YouTube, you start watching car accident videos, you know, but hey, that's just, you know, a little small piece of us watching judgment play out, you know, like, damn, that's kind of scary and all, but hey, you know, it's like Final Destination, man. You can't be scared about these things, man, because why? You got to keep your eye on the Most High, man. You can't be looking at the things going on carnally around you. Yeah, there's a lot of death going on around you, man. All right, there's a lot of things going on around you, but hey, man, it's about to get way worse, man. All right, so let's continue reading. Let me read from verse 5 again. Jeremiah 30:5. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear, not of peace. All right, because they think with these riots, these protests, these marches that, you know, the police are going to have some kind of change of heart, have real police form, stop killing folks, stop choking folks, stop shooting folks. No, man, it's only going to increase because why? The Lord's putting a spirit on them to be turned up too, man. So now they're looking like, oh, these people think we're the enemy. We got to double down. These people really trying to kill. Salakia. Salakia, I had to burp. These people are trying to kill us now, you know. So they have this in their mind state as if they're the so-called enemy. All these people, they got something against us. They're looking at us all funny, man. So now they're even more trigger happy. And ultimately, it's the Most High putting a spirit on them to start letting loose on these people, man. All right, verse 6. Ask ye now, see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness. Again, man, if you used to watch that video, you hear homeboy screaming out and just terrified, man, of what he just seen. He just seen his wife, no telling how long they've been married, you know, the things that they went through, all that just instantly came to an end. It wasn't like some kind of heated thing or whatever, whatnot, where she was battling some illness and died after fighting this for 3 or 4 years. Or no, man, everything was happy-go-lucky just 30 minutes before all that, and all of a sudden, boom, right? Verse 7, at last for that day is great, so that there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You know, and this is what a lot of our people need to understand, because ultimately, the world can see that Judah, all right, is getting their ass fucked up right now, right? The world can see that the so-called black man is getting fucked up right now, right? And a lot of you Northern Kingdom Israelites, you so-called Latinos and Native Americans like to say that, oh, we ain't clumped in with them. You know, they want to be more on the Edomite side. They think that they Caucasian and everything like that, right? But nevertheless, like, bro, no matter what you look like on the outside, no matter how you dress, no matter how you talk, no matter what kind of music you listen to, you know, no matter how you carry yourself, if you an Israelite, you still an Israelite, man. Them curses gonna follow you no matter what, man. All right, and the spirits inside of these people understand and see these spirits inside of, you know, who you are, man. So ultimately, the Lord don't miss, man. When the Lord sending out them death angels, man, they gonna go and find their marks, man. All right, so nevertheless, you know, a lot of these Hispanics are starting to see, and so-called Latinos and Native Americans are starting to see, hey, man, you under the curses too, man. You know, you have, like they said, they talking about the police brutality over in Colombia, all right, where, you know, you have a lot of the Northern Kingdom out there. All right, but nevertheless, you know, they're under the curses too. They're the ones getting gunned down too out here, man. All right, Esau ain't showing him no mercy as well either, man. All right. Oh, but going back to that Jeremiah 30, let me read that again. 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And who is the he that's going to be saved up out of it? All right, this is talking about the Israelites, but mainly, not mainly, but specifically, The elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3, all right? Because why 2/3 are going to be cut off and die on this here side, man? All right, so let's go real quick to the book of Isaiah. 13 and let me start at verse 15. Um, yeah. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Because I just made the statement about how a lot of these northern kingdom Israelites, Jake too in the southern kingdom, they like to say, but a lot of these so-called Latinos like to say that they're Caucasian, they're white, you know what I'm saying, or they like to, even though they just as dark as Judah is or whatever whatnot, they want to wear their camouflage jackets and listen to their country music, wear their cowboy boots or whatever whatnot, and think that they think that Esau look at them as a so-called white person as well too. But why are these curses following you as well too, man? Why are you getting the same Judah treatment as as the so-called black man is getting, man? All right, the homeboy just got his wife shot straight up in the car, rolling around, man. Verse 16, their children also shall be dashed into pieces before their eyes. All right, like we was going into a little earlier, hey man, it's gonna be a point in time where there's gonna be death left and right, man. You could be trying to go out to the grocery store to get some food with you and your child or whatever whatnot, and somebody snatch your kid up out of your hand or whatever whatnot and take your child off or break into your house. And I mean, they're already doing that now with these sex trafficking things and everything like that. They snatching kids up out of grocery stores, department stores, theme parks, and everything like that. But how much more when these children become valuable, all right, in a time where you can trade, people off, for certain things, like, some people might be hungry, so they might snatch your kid up, you know what I'm saying, to eat your kid, lo and behold, that's right around the corner, all right? They could snatch up your child, these younger kids, not no little kid, maybe them too, but snatch them up and start raping them or whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, since their children shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, the houses shall be spoiled, because people, again, like I said, man, people gonna be looking for food and everything like that, man. You might not never know when somebody's just gonna kick in your door and find you in the corner of your bedroom, no type of defense, scared or whatever, whatnot. And to them, they be like, shit, man. Well, we got, a wife and some kids in here, whatever, whatnot. They might just rape the woman and kill the kids, or take the kids and trade them off for food somewhere, or even eat the kids, man. Put the husband to death, man. All right, yeah, hell, here in America, you got this high divorce rate where it's a lot of women living by themselves anyway, man. Especially amongst you Israelites, all right? It says, and their wives ravished, all right? So, hey, man, you're going to have in these times, again, you'll have some soldiers who are overseas fighting in the military, and then their wives are at home by themselves, or maybe the husband is at work and the wife is at home and shit hit the fan at that point in time, or the husband is out looking for food or something like that, man, and somebody come through the door and take your wife, and have their way with her, man. All right, there was a video that one of the brothers sent out. I believe he actually sent it out twice, man. All right, where it's like a timeline about when shit hits the fan. It's like 1 week, they got the job. Then all of a sudden, the father loses the job, or they downsize the hours. He loses his job. They take all the little goods that they have at the house, start rationing that out. Wind up selling off the motorcycle. Wind up selling off the boat. You know what I'm saying? They got one car left. Then the older daughter decided to go work down at the strip club. Then she disappeared. Don't never come back to be seen again. Another one of the children gets sick and wind up dying there. They wind up taking the other child, wind up having to leave the house, to leave the dog out. They wind up eating the dog. Then, they wind up starving in their damn cars. The mother, the father, and their last child left. The last child wound up dying. And then the wife, then they wind up killing themselves, man. All right. You get to these points to where things is getting from bad to worse, man. All right. And these are the times that we're coming into, man. All right, there's no more time where, the scriptures say they're going to be eating and drinking and marrying until, like in the days of Noah, like when the Son of Man comes. But also at the same time, it's going to be like a thief in the night, man. They're going to be eating and drinking and marrying. Everything's going to be, all so good and everything. But then all of a sudden, their whole world going to get turned upside down. Just like, look at 2020 all of a sudden, man. All these people unemployed and everything like that, asking what they was doing last year, man. They was on the Instagram stunting with money up to their ears, showing off their new breast implants and their new Prada bags or whatever, whatnot. But now look at their ass, man. All right. All of a sudden, everything just changed up. Ain't no telling what homeboy's life was like beforehand or whatever, whatnot, man. All right, none of that's really important. It's just showing you as an example of how everything gonna get turned upside down real soon, man. And we're in those times where these things are happening. All right. Let me read verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Let me keep reading. Verse 18. Their bows shall dash their young men into pieces, and they shall have no pity upon the fruit of their womb. Their eyes shall not spare their children. All right, so going into, that article we was reading, yeah, those were Colombians in Colombia, the Colombian military on Colombian people. But however, who is the Colombian military backed by? All right, they're basically a puppet of the U.S. Army. So guess what? They don't really have no, they don't really have no feelings for the people that they're policing, more or less to say. It's just like where they have police officers that, let's just say a police officer lives in one city, all right, but then he polices in a whole nother city that's far away. He got to drive 30, 45 minutes away to a whole completely different city and everything like that just to go to work. He don't really care about those people because that ain't the neighborhoods and the community that he lives in and everything like that, man. All right, but if he was growing up in that community and things like that and knowing these people from growing up, he would have some kind of sympathy or pity for these people. But because you don't really know them like that, they're foreigners to you, all right, you just go in and just lay them down. It's free target practice, Verse 17, again, behold, I will stir up the Medes, which are Russians, or in this, in any certain state, foreign troops. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So you can't really pay them off because, wow, they already got an ultimate payoff, man. To go do this here free work on your ass, man. All right, now let me grab the same thing again. Because a lot of that was dealing with Esau. All right, this is Zechariah 14, and I'll start at verse 1. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. And half the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Now we know at this point in time, Israel's not going back into captivity again. All right, at this point in time, the portion of Israel that's going to take an L, they're going to wind up dying on this side, which are 2/3, all right? But the remnant of Israel, the 1/3, 144,000, they're going to be saved and delivered up out of here, all right? But a portion of the 2/3 is going to be put to death in the midst of Jacob's trouble, man. The same thing's going to be happening to them, man. All right, the house is going to be rifled. People going to be running through their houses or whatever, whatnot. The women ravished and raped and everything like that. All right, the kids going to be dashed in pieces right before their eyes, man. All right, and what are you starting to see happen right now? You just had the Breonna Taylor situation. What happened in their house, man? Their house was rifled. All right, homegirl was shot in the bed. All right, and they thought that they was getting their door kicked in, man. All right, but lo and behold, it was the police, man. All right, so hey, and then they tried to charge old boy for shooting at the police when it was a no-knock warrant. They didn't say that it was the police. They just busted in the damn door, and then so hey, he was trying to protect his household, man. All right, started letting off some shots, but then lo and behold, he get charged for shooting at the police. I'm like, wait a minute, but y'all came in unannounced. I'm just protecting my house at this point in time. You didn't say that this was the police or whatever, whatnot, man. How was I supposed to know you was the cops? You didn't identify yourself, man. All right, and your whole story was all fucked up, and they wound up getting off. They was looking for a drug dealer. That was the wrong address. Homeboy was already in prison. They had already locked him up hours earlier. But hey, man, they don't really give a damn because this is what the Most High have planned for these people to be doing unto our people, man. It's the end all be all, man. Culling off 2/3 of our people, one way or the other, man. All right. You know what? Let me read this real quick. 2nd Ezra 9. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Read 1 through 12. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou see parts of the signs past which I've told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Now, verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars in the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginnings. Now, when you read this in the book of Luke, and we always bring it out in Matthew 24, but when you read it in the book of Luke, let me go up a couple verses and jump down. All right, so let's say from verse 9. But, this is the same thing we always read in Matthew 24 about the end of the world. But when you should hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then he said unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. All right, now let me jump down. Well, let me keep reading. Before all these things, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. All right, now let me jump down to verse 25, I think it is. Yep. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, and the seas and war and waves roaring. All right, so hey, man, there's distress upon among the nations with perplexity, man. There's all kind of problems and uproars and uprisings of the people and everything like that, man. So as we read here in 2nd Ezra, it says, I told you about things that was written aforetime. All right. diligently in itself, and when thou see parts of signs pass, which I told you before, which we were just reading some of those signs in Luke 21, all right, then thou shalt understand it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. All right, so hey man, it's clear as day that we're living in those last days, man. It's clear as day that 2020 is the year that the Lord started to visit the earth, man. All right, by bringing upon these massive judgments day after day after day after day, man. We ain't had a quiet month yet, let alone a quiet week. We ain't had a quiet, we ain't really had a quiet week yet, man. Let alone a quiet month or several months, Verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby you have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in the land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. All right, and these is talking about the men of the Lord, because while they went and served the Lord, in truth and sincerity, I gave it their all. They answered the phone call when the Lord called them and everything like that. So what? The Lord's gonna protect them. All right, the Lord is not unrighteous to forget your works and your labor of love, which you show towards his saints, by ministering to his saints and to his name, But nevertheless, those that ignored the call, man, the Lord says he's going to choose your delusions, man. All right. The Lord, he says, I will number you all to the sword. You all bow down to the sword, because when I call you, do not answer. That's Isaiah 66 or 65 and I believe verse 12. All right. But nevertheless, all these things are going to start coming to pass on our people, because this is the beginning of Jacob's trouble, man. This is the beginning of the end for our people, man. The Lord is about to start turning up on 2/3 of our people right now, man. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse. You think these so-called killing of unarmed black people is bad? Like, he didn't even have no weapon. He wasn't even doing this. It wasn't even that bad, man. It's gonna get even worse than that, man. Breonna Taylor getting killed in her house while she's sleeping. This guy's wife shot in the head by the military. They ain't had nothing on them or nothing like that. Obviously he wasn't a threat. He's still walking around the police after they just killed his wife. None of the soldiers are really bothered by him. None of them trying to detain him or nothing like that. So obviously it wasn't that big of a threat, Verse 19, verse 9. Then shall they be in a pitiful case which now have abused my ways and have cast them away despitefully, shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits have not known me. All right. Now these ones that abuse his ways and that receive these benefits are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because the benefit of it is that for the longest time you've had your brothers, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans on the highways and the byways and on the internet flooding YouTube, letting you know that you're the children of Israel, come back to your power, giving you their names and everything, and giving you a way up out of these things. But guess what? You ignored that. You have better things to do, more important things to do, cooler things to do. You didn't want to serve the Lord, and so on and so forth. So now when these things come to pass, all right, your wife gets shot in the car or whatever, whatnot, or something like this happen, your kids get destroyed right in front of you, you want to start calling out, hey, man, the Lord said you're going to be in a pitiful case, man. Because why? You despised his ways, man. You loathed his laws, man. All right, you received the benefit of the fact that the Lord sent salvation unto you, but guess what? You ignored that. All right. Verse 10, for such in their lives have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while yet had liberty, and when yet the place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know that the death by pain. All right, because see, you didn't want to listen and learn the easy way when the Lord was having his men out there prophesying and preaching unto you. You wanted to ignore that. Well, when we was trying to tell you the so-called white man was the devil, and you wanted to argue back, all white people ain't bad. They ain't all the devil. They can't be all the devil, this and that. And then lo and behold, your wife, your kids get shot down, get raped in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Your kids get eaten by these folks. You know what I'm saying? Unarmed, you get killed in the bed. And then you want some kind of justice or peace, man. This is the damn devil, man. All right, you had the benefit of the Lord sending his servants out to tell you these things, but guess what? You despised it, man. You loathed the Lord's laws, his statutes, his commandments. You loathed listening to the prophets. All right, these things was nerve-wracking for you to hear these things. You couldn't wait to turn it off or call the cops on us and trying to get us put off the streets and trying to get the police to come and kill us. But guess what? Now the Lord is turning the tables on you, and so he's not going to hear your cries when you're calling out, man. All right, so I just want to bring out this lesson based off of that article I was reading, man. Hey, this is the beginning of Jacob's trouble, man. It's only going to get worse from here, man. All right, so Lord willing, you were edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that will. And salutation and much love for you. I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.